Alright, what's up everybody? I am going to do my weekly review right now. So today I didn't trade at all. Didn't see anything. Very slow. I think even slower than it was the 6th or something. I guess the 7th was pretty slow too, but I still ended up taking 3 trades on it. Either way, finishing the week, oh, forgot to type in the numbers there. Finishing the week just down $75, 29 commission, so down 104. Only non-compliance trade that I had was that minus 84, which probably should have been, maybe cut in half. Really interested to see what happened with the CVS because I got it loaded up on the video right now, and it looks really good. I mean, got a down gap. All the moving averages are just now catching up underneath it. I think I just kind of, if I remember right, I think I got caught in the short squeeze or something like that. But things that I wrote down for December goals anyway were VWAP bounces are quick. Level 2 shows you when you should stay or get out, especially on opening range breakout plays. When cutting a loss, wait on a small pullback, exit, replan, and re-enter if it is called for. I know I definitely did that with DG yesterday. If level 2 shows nothing wrong, take a partial at profit target instead of up just 1R. Monitor myself before I am about to make a bad decision or trade. What am I saying, feeling, or doing? Being aware. I know I did the same thing with this whole day. It's kind of a lot of back and forth really. It was already kind of late in the day too, so I knew that I was feeling that feeling that I had whenever I was kind of same like this day here. It was already kind of getting to that point, so I said I'm up 62 bucks, I'll just take it and leave it and walk away. So that was good. Mistakes that I made were taking bad volume trades. Volume was pretty bad all around this week, so I kind of couldn't really help that, but I don't think I took any trades that were necessarily too poor. I mean, the lowest one was that DG with that 25,000. The rest of these are mostly 50s and 100. Taking partial before profit target, have to see from the videos. Didn't exit and replan after mistakenly entering. It had a very nice move. Didn't wait for pullback, partial. Covered way too early. Just came back to moving averages to VWAP to test for the first time, and the stock made the move right after. Wedges should not consolidate, shorted right into support, exiting too early or before a signal. So first trade that I took was CVS on a symmetrical triangle. Giving myself a bunch of 4s here, shorting 600 shares, risking 9 cents to try and get 15 out of it, and it ended up being a $100 loser, losing 18 cents on it, so a minus 2R for this trade. You can see from the rest of these here, we're kind of getting back into the bigger than those minus 1R trades here. You got another 2 up there. So just staring at it here, definitely not a bad setup. Another thing that me and another friend were talking about is that this is a bull flag, and whenever I was originally paying attention to these triangles that were being created, I look for 4 points. So I got the 1, the 2, the 3, and then maybe not really a 4 at all just yet. I remember it now because this made the squeeze through the VWAP after it failed to go lower, a number of times here, and then it made the move right after. So this right here is definitely a bull flag. So we got the bull flag, it kind of consolidates, it retests lower below VWAP, doesn't like it, still can't break the trend line, retest below VWAP again, still can't break the trend line, retest below the VWAP again, still can't break it, and now we're getting to the apex of this triangle here. So this bull flag is still in effect. So it's almost like a bull pennant maybe. You can kind of see like a base right here. So what I should have been paying attention to on this stock is, we got the bull flag, so we got a bullish pattern. If there's going to be a squeeze, it might happen after it makes this move, breaking through the triangle here, which obviously is what happened because I ended up taking a $100 loser on this thing. Which actually, now that I think about it, if I was only lost $100, I only risked $54 on the trade, so that's another, I guess in this case it worked to my advantage. But if I'm risking $100 in total here, so I'm trying to short this thing at 43, pretty much right as soon as it breaks down underneath it. Stop loss, I'm sure, is a close above the VWAP. This is kind of crazy because this is for taking 600 shares like this on a stock that has no problem moving 20 cents in just one candle. That's pretty big size. So let's see what happens. So we got the 5, the 9's coming down on it. See, it's the same situation. It's a bull flag, and it's just kind of really consolidating here. So what I should be paying attention for right now is some kind of pop, like a breakout up for the for kind of the confirming the bull flag move, and then it would make that 4, because right now I got the 1, the 2, the 3, but I don't really have a 4. I need this triangle to make a 4 before it's a real triangle. I mean, the way it's acting, it's not a terrible short. You can see it's struggling to stay above the VWAP. Alright, so it looks like it's failing to move higher here. Yeah, 600 shares is pretty crazy, because the way that this thing is acting, it's gonna explode one way or the other. And I mean, if I had to guess which way it's gonna really break away from, I mean, I obviously thought it was short. I don't know. I can't really. It could go either way. I mean, I could have taken it for a long right now, but you know, with the 9-minute EMA or the 5-minute 9 EMA coming down on it, I wouldn't want to long it. So I definitely took my chance of shorting it. Alright, so I'm in this trade. Gets down to about 41. Starts pulling back again. And then right now, what should I be thinking? If it keeps failing to move lower like that, maybe I should just bail on the trade. And, you know, try and take it short again, even underneath this 40 here. Because right now it's still telling me that it wants to pop. And then that crazy thing happens, and then closes above it, waiting for a small pullback, and I end up getting out at 63. Probably should have been 65 from what I was looking at anyway. I don't know, I probably could have cut my losses a little bit sooner. I mean, on something like that, pulling back to 61. I don't think it ever got back into the 50s there. So I mean, I don't know. I took a really big size on that one, but I mean, if I remember right, it ends up running too. No, it popped up and then kind of reconsolidated, and then you can see the 4 there. That's where the 4 comes in. So they got the 1, 2, the 3, and the 4, and then the move finally happens. So I mean, I was just too early on it, really. So that was something that I was really paying attention to for the day after that one. Is you know, these bull flags are going to be made. Bull and bear flags are going to be made, really, for any of these triangles. Pretty much every single triangle that you're going to see has something like that. So what did I write? When you're looking at triangles, was it a bull flag, was it a bear flag, is it consolidating at VWAP or a price point? Will there be a pop if it fails to break the consolidation? If yes, wait for the pop or trade it, or just wait for the real move to come in. So this case, I was just too early. It didn't really make that set and defined 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern that I always like to see, and I took my chance to shorten it. And I mean, there's a lot of things telling me that it just doesn't want to go short yet. So I mean, it just cost me 108 bucks. I don't know. It wasn't a terrible trade, but it was definitely a lesson to be learned. So then the next trade that I took was HDS on an opening range breakout up. Lost 30 bucks on it. Oh, which also, I wrote some things down about this. So CVS, I wrote, made the move later, wasn't watching or interested, looked too confusing / manipulated, or too many fake outs, something like that. I really came to the conclusion that it was just that I was just too early on it. You know, it had a had a bullish move to start, and it just needed a little bit more time. But with HDS, no strength behind it, bailed early, and it was a good call because it ended up coming back pretty quick on me. So I'm wanting to take it long over the high a day. Definitely looks good. Up 10%. Good volume. So in this trade a little bit, only got 200 shares on it. You know, and I don't really see too much of anything, really. It doesn't look like there's a lot of buying or selling going on. There's a bunch of 1s, 2s, 4, 3. I mean, there's no real big numbers coming into play here. It's a little too fast to be able to tell if there's a hidden buyer or a seller. You know, I saw this thing get up to 25, and I mean, that was about it. Then right there, you see the 19. There's a buyer there now. So I mean, it gives it, you know, it's kind of like constantly making a case for whichever side wants to really go. You know, if these buyers are going to show up and they're just going to get taken out repeatedly, well, then I probably don't want to be long the stock. And if there's going to be sellers that keep showing up repeatedly and the thing doesn't want to move any higher, then I should definitely be thinking about getting out. So I did get out, pretty decent spot. I probably could have been, I mean, maybe a second quicker. Let's see. Yeah, I did what I could. That was fine, really. Only a small loser on something like that. You can see it really turned around right after, so I mean, definitely made the right call on that one. Then for the big day here. So with CN, I took, could have exited earlier, saving about 30 bucks. Kind of screwed on the exit, not a bad setup. Maybe too far away from VWAP. One of the things that my mentor's always been talking to me about is whenever you're taking these symmetrical triangle trades, pretty much any trade, you want it to be fairly close to VWAP. You don't want it to be super distanced away because, you know, people are always sometimes looking for that retracement back to the VWAP. So if I'm trying to take a trade away even farther from VWAP than it already is, well, then it has to be something really, really good. But in this case, I don't think it was that good. So we got a bear flag, 50 volume, 600 shares, risk and 10, trying to get 15. I hit my max loss on this thing. I gave myself a 6, which I believe is exited too late. 6 did not cut losses fast enough. So got 3, down 4, short and below, sector's not helping. And it looks like I was even more wrong after I exited the trade. Okay. So you can see we're a pretty decent amount away here from VWAP, and trying to get it short at 15. Really stretching it as to if this thing is even a triangle or not, because we got a 1. We don't really even have a 2. There's this thing, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's a really ugly trade now that I'm really looking at it. You know, I had the big move down. It's definitely a bear flag, but I mean, this thing's just been kind of guiding by the 9 here, and then I'm hoping for a breakdown once the 20 catches up with it. The volume's growing. Alright, so I'm in at 15. The volume is always a good sign. You like to see stuff like that. You know, see these big numbers. This guy was probably the reason why it's so big at the moment. In fact, I think he's the only reason. He was half of that candle. So realistically, this thing's down there, which is still, you know, not terrible. So we got the breakdown, and then we're kind of coming back. Plenty more sellers than buyers. I know I wanted to see this thing, see if it could get back to 20. I mean, big volume growing, but the thing's not moving anywhere. I don't know if I missed huge volume or something, because I know that's not people. That must have been one. Yeah, there's a 79,000 there. I mean, really, it just looks like it's kind of retesting the moving averages. It doesn't look like it's gonna do that to me. I mean, I would expect it to be pulling back from something like this. It still does. You see, now we got a little bit more of a triangle. Now is the time that I should be thinking, okay, now maybe it wants to make a move, because it had to make that. So I got the 1. Now we kind of have a 2 because it rolled over a little bit, and then we got a 3, and then, you know, that's kind of pushing it for a 4, but I mean, it's better than the original setup that I thought was there. So now it looks like it might be a pretty good short down to 20. Obviously, if it wants to get there. And then I just end up bailing all the way up at 30. Costing me a bunch of money. I mean, I could have bailed on this thing. You know, I say these things now, but if I realized this during the trade, obviously things would be a little bit different. This is one of those situations where whenever I say, when cutting a loss, exit, you know, wait on a small pullback, kind of like it just did. You know, exit and replan and re-enter the trade if it, you know, if it triggers for it again. So this was absolutely the case where I should have been doing something like that, but I'm sure I didn't realize it at the time. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm just getting ready to exit. It flashed 20, bought up 24. I mean, I don't really know what I'm waiting for there. I'm really waiting for it as long as I can wait. So the pattern that seems to be made for mistakes is that I'm taking triangles that aren't triangles just yet. These triangles have to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of situation, just like this Roku here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, almost even like a 5 in here. I mean, CVS, I'm pretty sure it was almost the exact same way. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3. So I mean, taking these trades too early, I think I'm getting a little too antsy on it. It's almost like a fear of missing out, where I'm just trying to get into the trade. And, you know, once the CVS trade, or once that CVS did make that 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, that's when the real move came in. So it's just one of those cases where I was missing it. So Roku was the biggest trade I've ever made. It's long at 400 shares, good volume, another bull flag. Risking 23 to make 20. I know my profit target was definitely a lot closer than what I figured. It was kind of like a 1-to-1 really as it broke out of this thing. I wanted to take it to yesterday's close and see how it acted. I mean, I did just that. Volume ain't the greatest, but I still wanted to be a part of it, because I knew that it had the potential to be spiking like it has. Plus, I mean, a setup like this is really, it's very clean. Wondering if I could have made my entry a little tighter. I don't know, because it's not like this 44 has been some significant spot that it's been bouncing off of for forever. I mean, it's been trading around 44 for the entire day. So I mean, really, I probably could have made my entry like 95 or something, which definitely would have helped because I almost missed this trade entirely. I also noticed how bad the spread could get pretty much right as soon as I was about to get into this trade. But I still hung on with the big size. I mean, it paid off. I think at this point now is when I was getting worried that it's going to break down, because the 50 is almost getting over the top of it. As soon as that 94, I could be in this trade right now. And I mean, once it got up there, it was gone. I got skipped over. Had to wait for it to come back. Luckily, it did. Got in at 44.05. Needed the spread to catch up with the ask, or the bid to catch up with the ask, because I wanted to start taking profits at least above 20. There it is. So we got 30, 31, and I think right now is what I'm waiting for it to... What did I do there? So we got 30, got to 31. I just clicked the button. I didn't even wait for it to pull back. Guess I'm kind of glad I didn't. I mean, I caught it right up there, and then as soon as I did, it pulls back another 20 cents. But I don't think it went below. Okay, it does go below 20, but I mean, it kind of consolidated around yesterday's close, and then once it made a new high day, this thing just took off. So I mean, the high day is 50. So I was already thinking that if it's gonna be at high day, I'm already gonna be looking to take a partial, another partial anyway. You can see for this entire, the whole duration of this trade, there's been some instances at 95 it got stuck a little bit, at 99 there was a bunch of sellers. Now that we're in these 40s, you can see there, and then the 50, the high a day, you get a big seller there, and then once it breaks that, it just goes. And I'm waiting for another chance to take another partial, take another 50 off. But I mean, it didn't look like it wants to stop. So until it does, I saw it as soon as it broke over the whole number. I was like, okay, now if there's any pullback, I'll take some. So click the button right at the whole number, and then I realized the next real spot to look at was that 30, just because of a couple days ago that was where the high was. So I said, alright, well, if it gets up to that 30, then I'm just gonna exit the trade. It does just that. Gets into 36, 30, and I'm totally out at 30. Now, if I remember right, that was the top, or at least a couple pennies away from it. So I mean, Roku was definitely a good trade. Solid trade, maybe held full size through the whole move. I could always say that, but resistance is resistance, and if I'm gonna just randomly decide to start saying, alright, well, stocks can make a move like this, if I start hold on full size for these home runs, I'm not gonna win very often. I mean, you gotta treat it like a single or a double at first, and if it happens to be a home run, well then great for me. That's why I still have a partial. So definitely a pretty solid trade. So then came DG. This was whenever I was thinking that about the whole bear flag, bull flag thing around VWAP consolidation and all that. So I guess you got a bear flag, maybe on like a 15-minute chart. It's like a bear flag to start, but then on the ones, we got this two candles. This thing retraces a dollar and then some, comes back to VWAP and tests it. So I'm like, okay, well now there's a bull flag coming in. So I know with these other trades, the same kind of situation can happen where you know, if it's gonna keep getting closer and closer to something, some price point or VWAP, in this case it was VWAP, you know, it's gonna pop as it either breaks through it or fails to break through it. So we got the 1, we got the 2, we got the 3, and we got the 4. Pretty much this whole area is a 4. I mean, at the same time, you know, these moving averages are getting underneath it, trend line's coming up on it, trend line coming down on it. So I mean, I figured if this thing broke VWAP, you know, we're gonna see a pop, and all these shorts are gonna get scared and they're gonna get out of this thing. So I only wanted to get half size on this. This being so close to 94, and in this case, 94 was acting as like a past resistance. Just seeing it from these candles here. So I only wanted to get half size to start, and then add again if it broke through. And I'm definitely glad that I did it in this trade, because this thing came down against me about 60 cents. Same situation. This is probably the worst volume trade that I took this entire week. But same situation, I knew it had the potential to be making moves. You can see even on these 2 candles here, you know, it's pretty, I mean, volume compared to the rest, it's fine. But I mean, 25 is nothing special. Alright, so I'm in, bounces straight up to 94. Not a crazy amount of sellers there or anything. At the same time, not a lot of volume on that move either. Closes above VWAP, and then this thing turns around, goes lower, and then it just breaks through every single support line that I had going for me. And at this point I was like, okay, on a move like that, that's crazy, this thing's gotta pull back. I was like, there's no way that that is gonna be sustainable. I mean, here's the point where I don't know what my risk was on it. My risk was 93.70, so right here is where, you know, now it finally did close, and I think I was just waiting. I was gonna exit the trade, but I was just waiting for it to, you know, either give me one more tick in my direction, or if it was gonna tick one more against me, then I was totally out. So I mean, we got one in my direction. And then we get the 61, and I'm totally out. So I mean, it wasn't, I don't know, it was a really good setup. I would take this exact same trade next Monday if it came to me. Obviously the volume might have been the problem. I mean, there wasn't anything really spectacular on the breakout or VWAP. You know, there wasn't any short squeeze or anything like that. It just kind of failed, really. So I mean, it was just a losing trade. It's just the way it goes. I don't really think that I did anything wrong on this. The only problem is just the volume. I mean, there's nothing really telling me that, you know, it was a terrible trade or nothing. I thought there would be a pop squeeze over VWAP, was wrong and failed after testing higher. Yeah, just the way it goes, I guess. I mean, you got the bull flag. You know, it's squeezing, getting tighter and tighter. I figured that if it was going to break over VWAP, you'd see all the shorts come out of this thing. I mean, the thing failed the rest of the day too. It didn't come back at all. It just kept falling and falling. So you got a huge seller there. I mean, at this point, it's not anything anymore. Now it's just like a failed bull flag, I guess. But I mean, it wasn't a terrible week. I mean, I know CVS was definitely probably the worst trade that I took. CN was maybe another one that was just borderline not good enough, I guess. But I mean, you know, for next week, the goals that I have to work on is definitely for triangles to have a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. It can't just be 2 things. It can't be 3. It's got to be all 4. If it's not all 4, chances are that it's going to be making that 4 sometime soon, which is also why I need to be paying attention to the bull flags and the bear flags to see if this triangle that might be forming is going to make a 3 or a 4, so that I can then, you know, adjust the situation and trade it how I want to trade it. So another goal is to focus on the positives, what is really working for me, and it seems to be that 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever I see that, you know, this Roku had it very cleanly. I mean, it couldn't have been almost any more picture perfect. Only mistakes that I really made was triangles must have a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's costing me the real move. I mean, volume's gonna be slow, I guess, if it's gonna keep going like this. I mean, this is the slowest day that I've seen in quite a while. I don't know if my trade ideas is gonna still show it after hours, but I mean, the relative volume was just really bad compared to the rest of the things. So right on my mistakes, volume has to be good enough. And other than that, this is like the first full week that I really had trading with the really big size, you know, risking 100 instead of 50, but you can see all this yellow in here for this relative volume being less than average. And I've had this scanner for, I don't know, probably just like a week and a half or so, and you know, for the past 3 days it's the only time that I've seen it be yellow like this, so I'm gonna take that as that means that it's just gonna be really slow. So I'll just have to deal with it, really, you know, make sure that I'm being patient, finding the right patterns, make sure I'm not taking anything that's too out of the ordinary, nothing like that. I'll just have to come back next week looking to take some good trades, so thanks for watching.